Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 10259. This is the Winter Village Station. Containing 902 pieces, this set retailed for $79.99 in the United States. And this was the 2017 Winter Village release, and it was designed to go with the Winter Village train from the year before, which, I didn't have in 2017. I bought it, I believe, January 2018 from someone on Facebook, and then I missed out on the station, but I got it this year for Christmas, so that's why we are doing this review now. And, yeah, I was looking forward to getting this building quite a bit. I don't know, I just like the way it looks. So, let's see if it looks as good as I was expecting. Before we get to the actual station itself, you build this bus, which is actually surprisingly interesting to me. I was not expecting to really like this. I was assuming this would be kind of like a little throwaway side build, basically, like some of the previous cars have been, but I don't know, I actually really like the way this came out. It's got a license plate at the back, which is a sticker, and some wreaths on the sides, which are good. I like the yellow and white color scheme, it actually looks really nice. And the roof is a nice dark blue. I like how they offset the front license plate, as well as, the engine intake. There's a little bit of yellow and black striping in there, which is a little bit apparent. From most angles, it's not too obvious, but when you shine a light directly at it, like currently, you can see through there, and it looks, so it's less obvious in real life than it will be in this video, I think. But you do have the two headlights there, which are pretty good. They look like flashlights, like you could take one off and use it to light up your closet. So, I don't know, maybe your minifigures are into that. But I like how they label it Bus 318 with another sticker. The stickers in the set, there aren't a ton of them, but where they're used, they look pretty good. And you get a lot of windows going on the sides, which is appropriate for a bus, because buses have lots of windows. Also the two on the back. And there is a little rack on the top for gifts. There are 3 of them, and they're actually attached with studs. So, there's just 3 jumpers there, and you attach them. You can attach them however you want, but the way the instructions show them attached, kind of makes them look a little bit random. And I like that. It looks good overall. One interesting thing is this part here is one of those 4x6 roof panels, like car roof panels, that was actually brand new when this came out. I believe it also came in like a city bus station set at the same time, but it was, this was one of the first sets it was used in. And inside the bus, you can see there is space for 4 figures. We got the driver plus 2 guests, and with the hairpiece of that lady, it's tough to get the kid standing anywhere, really. I guess, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't really work. Like, these are the ones that you build at the same time as the bus station. Oh, actually, I guess you could do that. It's a little bit of a tough squeeze up front with her accessories, but it works. Yeah, the door just doesn't want to completely perfectly close, but, it's good. And you can still fit another minifigure there. I assume as long as they don't have a hairpiece that goes backwards and would hit this guy. But that's just difficult because this is a child figure, so, makes it a little hard. But, you can fit 4 minifigures in a car this size. Usually you can only fit 1 in any of the Winter Village vehicles, so that's nice, I like that. They did a good job there. And you do have a little steering wheel. And the door does open, which is kind of a rarity for LEGO vehicles. Especially a door that minifigures can actually fit through. So, again, that's another cool thing, and I like how you get a little door handle. I almost would like to see a door handle on this side just to make it symmetrical, but I don't know. I like this. It comes out really well, and, looks nice overall. So, this bus was actually surprising and pretty impressive. Obviously, buses don't drive on train tracks, But they do include this little train crossing in this in the set, so that you can cross the road. And, you know, basically your bus would drive up and you'd open these and you'd allow your bus to go through, and then you'd close them if the train's about to come. And, you know, the track is currently not long enough for a train, so obviously they just stay open all the time. But you have the little train crossing signs. That's just a sticker on one of those sign pieces, and there's an identical one on this side. So, you know, it's a cool little side build, and this does attach to regular train tracks like regular train tracks do, which you'll see in a minute once we put it together with the station. And here is the completed train station building, and right off the bat, I like the color scheme with the sand green and the medium nougat. I don't know, it looks pretty nice for the most part, honestly, and I like the way that it is built. This whole section here is rotated at 45 degrees, which, you know, that's the first time they've done that in a Winter Village building, so I found that pretty fun to put together. You do have two of these lampposts, which they're just lampposts. This is a unique design, and I actually kind of like this one. But, you know, there's two of them included in the set, and you build these at the very beginning. This is the very first thing you build, and you just hold on to them until the very end when you put them here. So, you know, there's that. I like how they use the tooth plates to kind of create a feeling of snow dripping over, and this is the first time that they use these curved quarter round tiles in a Winter Village set to represent the snow. Some good use of new parts here, and they do that in several locations throughout the build. Starting over here on the little side of the platform where the actual minifigures are able to get up, they do use an interesting technique with the microphones in plain gray, or plain light gray, which you can actually you actually get an extra of those parts, as well as a chain. And this is just all attached via bar and clip, and you just fold it downwards. And, you know, obviously you end up rotating those like that so that they're vertical. And that kind of creates a little bit of slack in the chain, which looks good. There's a mailbox here, which actually has the same design as those in the Winter Village post office, which is really cool to get. I believe those ones were transparent back stickers. This is red backed, so, you know, it looks a little bit better, and it's the final result, I think, in my opinion at least. Coming over here to the actual ticket counter, you've got your minifigure in there who's selling you tickets. It's a little bit hard to see through the glass, but, you know, he's selling tickets, and he does come with a printed ticket tile, which can actually be slid right under and onto the little counter, which is really cool. That's a good feature, and you'll see that again when we look at the interior. But there's a sign saying tickets, and there is a nice little tile design leading up to the main door, which minifigures can just walk right through. It doesn't open completely 90 degrees. It's like very, very close to that, but, you know, figures can still get through pretty easily without much of a hassle. And before we look up, we're going to look over where you got the Winter Village, like a nameplate. That's the name of the stations. People who are on the train will see, oh, look, it's the Winter Village, and they'll get off here. There are two printed newspapers over at the little newsstand, which I guess people who are waiting for the train can read. And you have the Lego News. This is the new version of that print. In the instructions, it shows the old version. And then this is a different newspaper. I haven't seen that one before, I don't think. I don't know if it's new and exclusive to here, but I doubt that. And there's a little bench just over in this area with a little bit of a roof on top. So, you know, nice place for people to just sit. The last interesting section of the exterior is this tower. You have some wreaths going around it on three sides, as well as this printed clock face tile. This is printed on a minifigure shield. There are three of them included, one for each of the outward facing sections of the little tower here. And I like the way that they get this roof going. It's just hinged together around a central core. It looks pretty nice. I mean, That kind of is what it is. This is a very, very interesting build, and if you guys are interested in building techniques, I'd recommend looking through the instructions of this set just to see how that's done. It's pulled off really, really well, and that's definitely the most interesting part of this build. The interior is relatively small and cramped, probably the smallest of all the Winter Village buildings so far, and, you know, that's a little bit disappointing, but kind of to be expected since so much of the work on this set went into the exterior, which I think looks fantastic. Over here, we have the little ticket counter. You can see, you know, that's where the guy would stand behind the counter. It's a little bit hard to get him perfectly centered. It's possibly just have to raise his arm, I guess. And then, you know, he's, you know, able to line up at the ticket window and be able to push people's tickets through, which, again, I like that little feature, having that little gap there. It's just a 1x2 space. This is a sticker here showing the departures. There's another identical sticker outside next to the bench, which you couldn't see from the outside, but that just allows people to, you know, be able to see when the trains are coming and leaving. And then the rest of the interior goes towards building this little coffee shop, this cafe. There's a little menu sticker right there, which comes out pretty nicely. I mean, yeah. I also forgot to mention this right here is a printed ticket in his little ticket box. But there's a little cash register here. Again, that's printed. And you have this little barrier you can walk through and then close it behind you. And you could, if you wanted to, see this as being a cafe window, and people can actually order through the window because it can open and close. Based on the fact that it is one of these older style glass pieces, which has been around for a while. And the coffee machine looks pretty good on the whole. It uses one of those new bar pieces from Ninjago City, and she does get a broom so she can clean up at the end of the night, as well as 2 coffee mugs. And up above, this is basically just a tiny little attic, which just has a little festive Christmas tree. It would have been really cool to get one of these printed, similar to the way they printed the Astromech's head in the Star Wars Advent Calendar. But yeah, it's you know, it's okay the way it is, and it definitely resembles a Christmas tree still. Obviously, this here is completely blank. There's no extra clock included. How, you know, that would have been cool to just have a clock that faces the inside. You know, so you could say that's how they tell time from indoors, but, you know, I'm not too disappointed that there isn't one there. I wouldn't have expected one, honestly. Honestly, they probably could have gotten away with only 1 clock on the outside, so I'm glad that they even gave us 3. So starting for the figures, we have the bus driver and the little kid who rides on the bus. And both of these figures are nothing super duper special. There's nothing exclusive about them. But neither of them are bad either. The torso of this guy is relatively hard to find. It first appeared, I think, in the Deep Sea Exploration sub-theme. I could be wrong. Either that, I might be confusing it with something else, actually. But it has appeared in some city sets and some creator sets. I think it was in the Corner Deli, too. But it's not the most common of pieces. It's not the most uncommon of pieces. It's kind of in the middle. This other torso, I believe, was introduced in Fun at the Park, which, you know, is a good set with lots of minifigure pieces, but it's not super hard to find part either. The legs on him, though, are actually pretty uncommon, only appearing in the Star Scavenger Chima set in one of the Beavers, I think, and in the Lonely Mountain Hobbit set. So it's actually really nice to get those here, and that's a kind of uncommon part to expect to see here. Like, I wouldn't have expected to be like, oh, green short legs, awesome, but then I looked it up and was like, oh, that's actually kind of awesome. His hat was in dark red, and that's nothing special, I don't think. It's not the most common color, but it's not uncommon either. And there's a look at the printing on the backs of both of the torsos. And here we have the 2 employees. We have the ticket salesman and the coffee shop worker. Coffee shop worker is interesting because on the box and in the instructions it shows the gender-specific female coffee worker torso. or barista torso, and the one I have must be from a later run of the set because it actually has the gender neutral one, which is kind of cool. I kind of wish I'd gotten one of the gender specific ones so I could do a comparison here, but I've actually never gotten one, only ever gotten the gender neutral ones. We do have a airport / train, that's the train, Lego City Train logo on his jacket. That jacket might be new. I don't think it is, because if it was new I would expect back printing, but it's a cool print. I like the inclusion of the ticket tile, and neither of these figures have any alternate expressions, but the barista does have a little bit of back printing. Both of their hair pieces are just, regular hair pieces that are relatively common. The final figure included in this set is this older lady, probably the grandma of the small kid included, and she's just a tourist. She comes with a money tile, so she can go and actually buy tickets as well as a suitcase part. The torso, I believe, was also included in Fun at the Park. I could be wrong. I think it was introduced in the grandma figure there. The hairpiece is cool. It was used on Misako in Ninjago. No alternate expression as you saw, but the front of her face, is good with the glasses. It appears in several other sets, so again, not exclusive, but, not a bad figure overall. So the last thing we gotta do is put everything together, and obviously starts by attaching the train crossing, which, that's cool. I mean, I guess it's kind of is what it is, and then you have the bus here. And the one thing I have not shown you yet from this set is that you do get 2 trees included, one large tree and one small tree, and you can just kind of put those wherever, just to kind of create the scene. I was a little bit confused when I built the Winter Village Fire Station, because I believe that's the fire station, the first one of these sets that does not include a tree. I think the Winter Village train did. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it does in a little side build. But yeah, I don't know, these trees kind of scream Winter Village to me, so it was interesting to not see them. But overall, I think that this is a pretty good set. I mean, I do feel like it's a little bit of a smaller building, but the overall footprint is really big due to the train tracks. And let's show you guys what it looks like with the Winter Village train brought in here. So there is the front car, and then next up we've got the middle car with the little tree, which does not want to separate. There we go. And that has all the toys in there. It's all fully loaded up. Those will probably fall out, but there we go. Whatever. And you'll notice the biggest flaw of the set is there's not enough platform. This whole stretch of track just barely fits everything, including the caboose. Like, it goes all the way up to the end, pardon the cord there, and all the way up to the front. Like, there is not enough track and platform here to fit the full train, so that people can get onto the train from the platform, or people can load things up into the center car from the platform. I don't know. I think that overall this is a good set, and it looks good, even with the train attached here. But I think that it needed to be a little bigger in order to, completely successfully, portray a train station for this train. Overall, though, not a bad set on its own. Not a bad set in combination with the other train. There are definitely things that could have been improved about it slightly, but it's, pretty solid on the whole, and I would recommend both of them, especially if you have more track, which you do get a full loop of track with the train, but you'd want to have a couple of extra straight pieces of track, because otherwise you can't create a full loop, because you can't make a circle that has, 4 extra length of track here. You know what I mean. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.